Hey guys, welcome back to the Sopwith Aircraft Factory. I think I need a break. It's catching up with me a bit, but that's all right. I've got school holidays in a couple of weeks, so we'll push on. This video, I hope to get some covering started on the, or at least attempted or cut or something, on the fuselage. We'll make a move on that. Painting's going to continue in the tent. We'll see how we get along with that. I'm trying to keep my area here clean. People might think it's a bit strange, but no oil and grease and things like that. To my best efforts, I'm trying to keep that area clean because you get fish eyes in the product, in the end result. So that's where that's at. Watch along, we'll see what we get up to this week. All right, let's move on to the fuselage. I've glued on just a gusset there to help with the fabric. It'll be dry tomorrow, hopefully. I can notice my glue's oozing out everywhere. Clean that off in a minute. And my footstep consideration there, the wing trailing edge ends here somewhere, or 19 inches back. But I just found if I'm back here, I'm on the smaller diameter tube, and because of this, it's all in the way. I don't want to stand on the trailing edge. However, if you look down from inside, you can actually see that the closer it is. To put your foot in when you do get out is a consideration. But also it's on the thicker tube, and it's a smaller step to get to here. But you also need to be able to reach some sort of handhold on my practice runs to get in. Anyway, I've gone with it there. I'm just going to glue on a horseshoe, and these just tell me where the fabric's going to go. So I glue it sort of out proud so that it'll touch the fabric, and then we'll do a nice aluminium faceplate or something in the future. Probably just self-tapper it to the wood. Yeah, that's where that's at the moment. All right guys, we're going for the record. 5 degrees, it's warmed up a bit. All right, I've marked the fabric along here. Now I think I'm going to cut it. Cut it and glue it on. How hard can it be? Let's just do one side at a time. You know, I could try and roll that up there, and I think it'll just get too out of shape too quick. We'll just do the bottom. Nice flat, two-dimensional triangle, and we'll go from there. Got a nice work area. Still painting. Haven't given up on the paint, guys. I'm just doing one coat a day because of the temperatures. Fin, rudder, elevator, tailplane. Tailplane and elevator are done, ready to flip over and mask and do the green. And the other guys just need a few more coats. All right, tacking the bottom on. The top side's easy. That bottom side there's a little bit harder. And up here, I've just sort of pushed it in and marked it and got a pencil line. Now I'm just going to hack this out and hope for the best, I guess. Just work slow and get it in without wrecking the rest of the roll, because this will be a side piece that I've got here. But I'd say it's going well at the moment. Glad I'm just doing one side at a time. I have to roll the fuselage over quite a few times, but we're getting there. All right guys, had a few GoPro issues. As you can see, I've got the fabric loosely on the bottom. So I had the aircraft up on its side, glued the fabric on. This side's touch dry. Come around and a second coat of glue and a wipe. I know a lot of people with the other products, poly spray, and there's a couple others that'll come to me, AirTech coatings. Yeah, they sort of bag the wiping, but once you get into it, it's not really an issue. And it's actually quite enjoyable to rub the glue into the fabric, and yeah, you get a bit comes off, but you get a certified bond, as they say. So once I get the other side, I'll show you that in a minute. I've just got the fabric, it might look like that's covered, but that's the tent. Just got the bottom covered. It's not too bad to roll the aircraft over. I can pick it up by myself. It just rolls on the the trestle at the tail, and I think what I'll do is roll it back on its side and do the side panel nice and flat. Much and muchness really. I did the bottom with it hanging, so you can sort of clip it on the top. I could clip the fabric along the top. Bear in mind you're dealing with the whole roll, so you've got to keep the fabric under control before you cut. I'm hoping the offcut from that, which is still on the roll, so it's endless, but it's tapered, will fit the, efficiently fit the side, and then we'll get to the top. You can see I've put a coat of glue on. You can put that on well in advance, so all around the edges it's dried now, but it's sort of tacky. Before I went home last night, I ran a bead of glue just around the 4 edges. I also, while I was doing that, I noticed I'm a big fan of these little plates. Now that's just edge glued on at the moment. I ran a aluminium L-angle across there last night, glued that on. I've used that Gorilla Glue that sort of puffs up. You could quite easily just snap that off if you wanted to. It'll get its strength or add strength to the fabric. Bear in mind I'm going to kick that with my foot, and I harp on it all the time because you'll have the fabric come in. My voice is probably a bit off, guys. I'm rugged up like the bloody going to the Swiss Alps, and feel a bit of a cold coming on. But the fabric just gives that fabric around there, something to glue to. Otherwise, you'll kick it and you'll end up with a nice little tear in your aeroplane in the skin, same as what I've done down here. I think that'll work quite nicely. A little trick for new players: before I have people here helping me, this is a long way off, but I just need to make sure that I can now offer the wing up, the lower wing, and slip the bolt in because I don't know if when I built it, the wing could have penetrated right through the covering because the covering wasn't there. So we'll just have to check that, and that's just a matter of trimming the wing. But it'd be easy to do that by myself rather than have people holding the top wing up and then I discover a problem like that. I put on my arch for my foot, once again, simply just butt joined. I'm surprised how strong that actually attaches. You just know it's not going to last, but it's purely to hold the fabric. And now also, when I do a nice polished horseshoe or something, whatever I do there, I can just run some self-tappers into the wood. The covering will fold eventually, will fold in and around when I knock this hole out. Also, inspection ring time. There'll be one there and one on the other side, over here somewhere. And the intent with those is I'll just paint over those, cut them out if I ever need to get in there and put a hatch on. But getting those ready. That's the other reason for doing things on its side. It's easier to glue something like that than to try and glue that on the side. It's obviously going to wander off. So we're almost ready. If I show you the other side here, which I've just done this morning, which will take quite some time to dry. Gone along, cut out where I need to, glued it down so it's still tacky, and then with a 50-50 water and glue, I just wet that edge again, and then I can run the knife through, come around a lot more, but anyway, it is what it is. And you've got to be careful you don't cut the good fabric underneath. So we'll run the knife back along. Gives you a nice, with a bit of patience, you get a nice clean edge. Bits like this as well. Just here, the temptation is just to cut that off. But if you just wait till that glue dries, and then the iron will actually put that in nice. That's how the other side turned out. Unfortunately, with these crappy welds as well, there are a few lumps and bumps poking out, but it is what it is. I'm allowed to, but on a certified aircraft, you can see here where the tube changes sides, I've just put a wrap of tape around there. I didn't want to get the angle grinder out. Obviously, I don't want any sparks now, but you're going to end up with a little bit of a blooper there. On a certified aircraft, you're not allowed to grind welds, so I was informed. This is not a certified aircraft, so I can go bananas with the file if I need to. You can see I had some resin or something on there. And now I think I'm almost ready to probably have a coffee, trim these edges off once again, iron it down, lay it back on its side, and I'll unroll this side panel. Bit of tricky dicky around the foot peg and up the front there, and we'll get that on. Progress is progress. Still way too cold to do any painting. Painting's taking quite a bit of time. If you can see through my window, stab, elevator, fin and rudder. I've just got 2 more coats to do on one side of the rudder, and then it's ready to start masking those up. I'm going to be a bit cautious, and because of the temperature, 2 or 3 days before I put masking tape onto my nice finished parts. And then we'll start with the green on top, or the olive drab, for the elevator and horizontal stab, and obviously red and blue stripes on the rudder. Okay, now the satisfying bit. Just check the iron all the time with the temperature gauge, Fahrenheit, 250, beautiful. Now, we just shrink it down, I guess. Because I'm impatient, I'm going to bump it up a touch. Right, next side looks like I've got enough fabric, which is good. So I'm just going to peg it out. I'll probably cut the footstep first to give me a bit of wiggle room. Leave plenty of, I'll divvy this up. I've got about 12 inches there. So slide it up a bit, get the foot peg cut out, maybe these bits. You just have to be careful when you flatten it out, it doesn't exit stage right or left. Keep the rest of the fabric as clean as we can, and that's going to go on there nicely, I think. So I'll clamp this on, cut it out, and then just work an inch at a time, literally. Right, 2 new blades. Brand new blades, they don't last long. I've pegged the back so it can't miss, hopefully, and we'll start to tack this on. I think I'll, like I said before, I'll try and salvage the foot peg here somehow and get that on first, and then pull the wrinkles out and around, and this bit that was worrying me, and the rest should lay down flat, hopefully. So I've just marked the foot peg. Now if I pull that up, it should give me a rough guide where to cut. Might just run a bit more on the vertical. And we'll start at that point there. Get that tacked on and then pull all the rest out and around. See how that works out. That's where that bit of plywood's come in real handy. The very first piece I've used is the plywood that I've glued on there. Now, I'll try and make some sense of this. I'll get this edge done first, I think, and around this hard bit. Get it all tucked in here, once again on the plywood that I've put in there. And then we can pull all the rest of it to straighten this out. Just paying attention though, you don't want to have it so when you pull it, it runs off the fuselage. All right, slow and steady. All right, going well. Got that tacked in nicely. Now, remember with these edges, I'm just going to wet that with glue. Then it's easier to handle, believe it or not. Same as this frayed edge here. That'll get a coat of glue, razor blade, and we'll tuck it in nicely. I'm just borrowing every bit of airframe I can to help adhere the fabric, because it's trying to pull that way when I shrink it down. This bit here will get trimmed off in a minute, and it's going to get tucked down and wrapped around the tube. I'll go up to that corner over there, pull it out, and the rest should be fairly straightforward, I'd like to think. What I tend to do is at the uprights, I'll tack it here and the top, pull it down, same again, little tacks. The good thing with the iron, if I do get a big wrinkle, I can pull this up like we did on the leading edges of the tail surfaces. Very loose, loosey-goosey, but I'm confident that'll all come out. All right, for me it's all just about keeping the fabric under control. Do get a couple of little whatever's going on under these tabs. I'm sure that'll shrink out. And I'll just finish off this rudder post. I've got a couple of hinges to deal with in here. I'll let that dry. I'm going to whack a coat of paint on the rudder. Then we'll come back. I can't shrink this yet. I need to do the edge. I should have run a 1-inch bead of glue. I can still do that once this dries. So I'll flip it up, run a bead of glue, and cut that edge, lay it all down, tuck it all in, tighten this up. We should have this side basically on by the end of today. Going well. We'll flip it over and do the other side at some stage. All right, next step, I've just marked a 1-inch line, and now I've wetted that out. Wait for that to dry. We'll trim that off, glue that edge down, get a good certified bonded edge. Then I'll start working up the front here. Just needs some good time to dry now. Time to go and paint something in the paint shop, I think. All right, looking good. So up the front here, I've just made up a really thin paddle pop stick, or whatever you want to call it. I'm just pushing the stuff in the fabric down through there, and now I can get my wrap on the tube. Only just. I need a note to self, make that longer next time, but that's working sort of okay. To get the fabric in through there. I'll go around the top to get that done. Glued all that on, glued all the edges on. Almost time for the first shrink. Alright, just putting the first shrink on. I've just noticed I missed these two for my fair leads. I need to get some tape on that. So luckily I can still get in there. I'll stop shrinking it. I'll get in from the other side, slip a bit of that anti-chafe tape onto those two, and I'll have to remember to do the other side ones as well. This is still a little bit wet, so I've got some gummies up here. I'll let that fully cure before I iron that right down. Basically two sides sort of on and under control. I'll do all 4 sides. Then it sort of makes like they all join up, if you like. There is an issue getting a good glue joint around the top longeron there, I guess. But I've worked it out and we'll do all right. Yeah, we've got a direct pull just on a sort of 3/4 inch glue joint, but the top one will come down over the top, so that'll help. So I won't go to full shrink just yet. Just want to get the wrinkles out of it and see how we're going. Okay, are you serious? How good's that? Very satisfying, guys. Very happy, more than happy. I think what I'm going to do at the front here, in my mind, I haven't got enough glue adhesion, especially on a leading edge to the airflow. This is where the fabric starts and stops. I've been through Y and whatever of doing these tapes. So, doing these brackets at the front here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a 2-inch tape up onto this, but I won't shrink it. So once this is pre-shrunk, as long as it hangs on and doesn't pull away, then I'll come in with my 2-inch tape and finish that edge off nicely, and it'll glue to this L angle as well. Just give it a bit more bite. If that popped off in flight, you just rip the side of the aircraft off, which would ruin your day. So that's what we'll do there, I think. Just about to call it quits and pull out the tailplane and the elevator, and I'll do some masking and we'll get some green paint on top of those. Okay, let's mask this bad boy up. I need to come up with some sort of continuity, I guess, probably 1 inch steel ruler might be good, without dropping it through my covering. All the way around, to continue on the wings as well. So this is the bottom, obviously. The top is still in primer. I may or may not get a green coat on that tonight, but I'm going to run some tape around the edge. The good thing with the roller, I guess, is I don't have to sort of worry about overspray. However, I do know from experience, all your best efforts, it's easy to do a burnout onto the product. So we'll mask this up, see where we get to. What I'm going to do first is I've got the frog tape. Yep, I know you're all screaming at the screen. I know I have got the good 3M thin stuff. I've got packets of that, but I'll save that for the roundels and all the good stuff. So the bottom surface of the tailplane, it's my get out of jail free. I'm going to use the frog tape. This stuff, frog tape. It actually has like a silica or something in there that reacts to moisture. So my process is, and it'll be a bit laborious, I'll put the tape down, but then I'm going to brush the edge of the tape with this linen colour. The end result's going to be green, but then any little bleeds will be the linen colour. So that's a good little trick. You'll see as I go, but we'll lay the masking tape down, then I'm going to come back with the linen colour and just brush the edges all the way along. So it actually seals the edge, makes the tape react to moisture, and any little bleeds you won't see. And that's what I've done on my test pieces down under the bench there, and it's worked really well with little effort. So let's give that a go. All right, guys. So good day today. Left-hand side of the fuselage is covered. The bottom of the fuselage is covered. I've taken them up to the first shrink just to get the stretches out of it, the stretch marks. Like I said before, I'll get all 4 sides on, then I'll take it up to 350 degrees Fahrenheit with the iron. Then we'll start looking at tapes and whatever. You see I've started to mark already where I need to put 2 access panels. Lots of doilies to come. Everywhere there's a tube, we'll get a tape. So run the tapes, tape along the edge. These will have little reinforcement doilies across. But yeah, a lot of fun. It's actually progress. And then Once I'll get some primer on that. I'm really looking forward to bolting the tail back on, to be completely honest. But no rush. We'll get this done. I've got school holidays coming up soon, and I tend to take a break over school holidays. But it might be a good time to sneak out for an hour and put a coat of paint on and go away, come back the next day. You know the drill. So, in the tent. I have got the fin basically done. The rudder. The white is pretty much done by the look of that. Bear in mind, I just need that 100mm section down the middle to be complete. Then we'll have the red trails and the blue leading edge. That's going to be fantastic. And these guys, I've showed you before. I've masked them up, and then I've done my little cheetah strip of linen colour to seal the tape all the way around. Tomorrow I'm going to come in. We're going to put some olive drab or deluxe ecology green I'm using. We'll put that on. There's a bit of thought to go into this with where it's going to sit, because I have both sides wet. Just the trailing edge, for argument's sake, will be wet. I flip it over, it's going to sit on itself. So I need to think about that. Maybe I just treat it like two sides, do what I've just done there, wait for it to dry, then flip it over. But anyway, that's tomorrow. It's looking really good. I'm really happy so far. All right, guys, that's that couple of days complete. Really happy with how things are progressing. Got my technique down pat, I guess. Always learning, always forgetting stuff. But if you can fix it, it's not an issue. Like I forgot the fabric to cover the lumps and bumps. Two sides down. Had my mate just come in, thanks Graham, and we flipped the aircraft over ready for tomorrow. I'll cut the fabric again. Would be a lot quicker if the front had some tabs or something mounted on it. I could just wrap the fabric around, but because I've designed those L angles with the Adele clamps, it's a little bit cumbersome, a little bit mucking around. Then turtle deck sheeting will go on. Hopefully I'll get that on by the end of the week. See how we go. Whack some primer on this bad boy, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching.